Oh, I'm good. I'm just lost.
You're in the home.
Alright, so after 13 years and playing other Kingdom Hearts games in between, we thought wouldn't be that significant to this plot, but we were wrong. We finally get Kingdom Hearts 3, and with this being the most anticipated title in over a decade, and all of the hype building up to this very moment, was it any good? Well, I will say, with its overall presentation in regards to story and gameplay, it's good, but not as good as other titles. It definitely has a few issues here and there that keep it from being a fantastic sequel that's supposed to give the diehard fans a lot of answers. It does. It definitely does. But with how the answers were delivered makes some of us question why the game was made this way when previous games didn't have this kind of an issue. Maybe it's because there's a lot to take in with this universe and you need to know a lot in order to understand what's going on, but some of those details weren't too significant as we mainly focus our attention on certain plot points. As vague as this is, I'll try not to spoil anything major until we get to my strict analysis and what elements work and don't work in this game. Alright, before the spoilers, let's go over the plot. It seemed like each game had a point to everything happening in their game, no matter how ridiculous it all seemed, especially Recoded, by far one of the most pointless games in the franchise. But then we have Kingdom Hearts 3, a story where Sora literally has nothing better to do while Kairi and Axel train with their keyblades off-screen, and Riku and King Mickey try to go find Aqua, who's the only one who knows where Ventus is. Sora could have helped Riku if he didn't lose his powers in Dream Drop Distance, so now he has to figure out how to awaken his powers again while visiting random Disney worlds. The game proceeds to take us to each Disney world with Organization 13 watching over us until we visit the very last one, and then we suddenly transition to a part of the game that tries to wrap up a lot of things that happened in the past games. Can we get Terra, Aqua, and Ventus back? Is there actually a way to get Roxas back? Can we get 7 Warriors of Light in order to fight in the Keyblade Wars? What's with the black box that was talked about in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross? What do these guys have to do with anything, as if this story wasn't confusing enough? I'd say with all this in mind, and with how the game was ultimately presented, this is definitely not their cleanest work. The game feels like it's divided into 2 different sections, Sora messing around the Disney planets, and then plot time that'll make diehard fans cry a lot. Even though I love a lot of what happened in the final segment and teared up a bit, I still think they could have made this game flow a bit better. To demonstrate my complicated feelings on the game, I'll go over what I love about the game and what I don't love about the game, and I'll figure out the score towards the end. This means spoilers are happening right now. Good point number 1, the graphics. I couldn't stop playing this game because it was too beautiful to put down. It made me wish that we could have had the Pirates level from Kingdom Hearts 2 in this game instead of seeing how the characters seriously clashed. But with these graphics, Sora and Jack don't really look out of place with each other, even though Sora has bigger eyes and is accompanied by a walking, talking duck and dog. Not to mention, it was great seeing cutscenes just automatically transition to the gameplay with no loading time. That and having Donald, Goofy, and other characters talk to you while you're playing is a fantastic upgrade.
What? Well, this is rather embarrassing. Who said that? Get a load of me, Buzz! I sound like an alien! So do I!
And look! Are you seeing this? People! There's people in these worlds! Wow! They're not even the main characters! Given how huge these worlds are, it's great to see how alive they can be with all these people walking around. You never saw anyone else in the past game, so this is a nice change. Good point number 2, great sound and music. Although there's one confusing moment I'll address in a moment, the majority of the game sounded pretty good. The original sound effects are there, which gives you a nice nostalgic feeling, but the background music is updated in some of the worlds, like in Twilight Town, and all the other worlds have perfect music to fit their planets. Hey, I'm just glad all of Arendale's background music wasn't just Let It Go. There's only so much we can take of that. I am addressing that point too later. And to win this particular point, I actually like the intro music Face My Fears with the editing they made to match the beats. I could watch this intro over and over again and still be impressed with the editing and the song. It's different from Simple and Clean and My Sanctuary, but it's a good change to me. Be sure to tell me which Kingdom Hearts intro is your favorite after listening to these 3. Good point number 3, something nice to say about the fighting mechanic. I'll address something major about the fighting mechanic in my bad points, but I'll give some kudos towards the variety in attacks depending on your limit choices and keyblades. I'm actually glad they kept the mechanic allowing you to have team attacks with other characters, but the keyblades have their own unique abilities besides status effects. They can actually transform into different weapons while providing you with massive AoE damage. Best ones in my opinion being the keyblades from Arendelle, Caribbean, and San Francisco. And say what you want about the random Disney attractions and how you have no say in what the attacks will be, I just love how over the top and random they are. It just makes me wonder what some of the characters in their world are thinking when you see Sora attack with a carousel. My favorite one has to be the river rapids with the amount of damage you can make when you're making a trail and when you ride it out towards the end. Your summons are back as you can choose between Ariel, Wreck-It Ralph, and more, but I mostly appreciate the Dream Eater attacks because they're so cute. Good point number 4, fighting bosses in space is actually optional. I never really liked gummy ship missions in Kingdom Hearts 2. The first game had a few obstacles that were okay, but nothing was as obnoxious as the fights you had to do in the second game. Thankfully, in Kingdom Hearts 3, space is more like an open world that gives you the option to explore everything and fight whatever you want, while also giving you the option to avoid those challenges. For players who just wanted to go to the Disney worlds with no delay could rejoice in this new option, but the challenges will still stay there if you want to pursue them later. Good point number 5. Okay, I like the selfies. I sighed a bit seeing Sora making selfies, which has only made a ton of memes on Facebook, but I love seeing the characters interact with the camera. Not to mention, you can use the camera to locate lucky emblems, aka hidden Mickeys, and photograph Moogle challenges, like taking a picture of the Beasts and Bugs wall display in the toy box. Alright, let me just get a good angle right here. Thanks, Woody. Thanks for helping me. And I thought your friend over there was being the buzzkill. Good point number 6, the worlds and their stories. Okay, most of them. All but 3, maybe 4 if you count Olympus, have their own creative stories that make you a bit more interested in their worlds. Woody and Buzz can't find their friends or even Andy. Mike and Sully are trying to figure out why Boo and even Randall is back. And San Francisco tugs at your heartstrings with the main boss you had to face. Alright, you feel good about yourself, Organization 13, because this was low. Even from you! And even if Olympus was just finishing the end of Hercules, it was still fun rescuing the people in Thebes, only to make our way to help Hercules' dad. These were a lot of fun to experience, but I can't say the same for these 3. So even though I like some of these additions to the games and all the detail they put into everything, I now have to address what kept this game from being the perfect sequel everyone wanted. Bad point number 1, the story's pacing issues. Kingdom Hearts has a complicated story, and that's an understatement. And yet somehow they were able to make the main parts of the game, that being the Disney World exploration, and the main story flow together in some way. There was always a reason for Sora to explore these worlds, like finding his friends, locking or unlocking keyholes, stopping the Heartless and Nobodies, and figuring out what each villain was trying to do. Here, it's as if the writers knew what we wanted in regards to the story, but didn't know how to connect the Disney worlds to the main point. Sora is just flying to each world trying to figure out how to get his powers back. While Riku, Kairi, Axel, and Mickey are doing their own thing, Sora picks a random planet, finds the Heartless, Nobodies, and Unversed to fight off, meets the inhabitants that need his help in some way, and a member of the organization jumps in to basically say, "We know something you don't know, nya 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 nya." Yeah, even Sora got fed up with this repetitive plot.
This is the part where you spout some mumbo jumbo and disappear, right?
Bad point number 2, copying the movies frame by frame. Did anyone else notice that the majority of the Disney worlds in this game are based off of 3D animated Disney films? So the model makers didn't really have to try that hard in trying to recreate these characters when they're already in 3D. I don't know about you, but I miss seeing 2D animated characters rendered in 3D. But the main point of my argument is this. 3 of the worlds we go didn't really try to change their stories at all. Past worlds would either come up with a new story and would involve the trouble Sora is facing, or just incorporate Sora in their story from the original movies. The world of Frozen, Tangled, and Pirates didn't really change too much, which made me feel like we were just rewatching the movies in a compressed format. There are some elements left out so we don't stay in their world for too long, you know, like taking the snuggly duckling out of the Kingdom of Corona, and that actually felt wrong. No snuggly duckling in the world of Tangled? I'm sure diehard Tangle fans are crying. But it actually gets worse from here. Somebody tell me why it's important to slip in 2 songs reanimated frame by frame in Arendelle, while taking away any point Hans had. Unlike Mother Gothel, who had some time put towards her character in Kingdom of Corona, Hans is barely on the screen for 15 seconds. But we don't need any character development when we can watch Let It Go and a small portion of Do You Wanna Build a Snowman?
Come on, let's go and play. I never see you anymore.
Years
Come out
passed
the
and we
door.
barely
It's
ever
like
saw
you've
each
gone
other.
away.
Then, finally, it was time
We
for her
used to be best
coronation.
buddies.
Wow, they didn't even turn down little Anna's volume. Can you even hear either one of them? Like, whose editing choice was this? Is this getting even more annoying the more times I talk over their singing and talking? Seriously, whose editing choice was this? They need to reconsider their future, as this scene did not turn out well. And I'm sure Sora's just sitting there like Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life, as everyone around him is just spontaneously singing.
We only have each other. It's just you and me. What are we gonna do?
Why was everyone singing?
But the pinnacle of what were you thinking had to go to Pirates of the Caribbean. It's obvious they chose to base this world after the 3rd Pirates movie because honestly, the boss fight with Davy Jones is awesome. But plot-wise, they chose one of the most confusing movies to recreate. Sora just lands here and has so many questions. Jack is dead and we're in Davy Jones's locker? Barbossa's back? Elizabeth's a pirate? Who's Davy Jones? Who's Cutler Beckett? Who the hell are you, lady? What do you mean she's a goddess? The other worlds did their best to recreate new scenarios for us to be interested in, but these 3 were the least creative in my opinion. I'll give them this though, with how Disney loves to make Frozen sing-alongs every chance they can, at least Arendelle wasn't the new Kingdom Hearts 2 Atlantica. Bad point number 3, lack of content. Kingdom Hearts had 11 Disney worlds, not including Traverse Town, Hollow Bastion, and End of the World. Kingdom Hearts 2 had 12 Disney worlds, not including Twilight Town, Radiant Garden, and the World That Never Was. Kingdom Hearts 3 had 8 Disney worlds, not including Twilight Town or the Keyblade Graveyard, to which then, even if you did include those worlds, it still doesn't compare to the other games, especially when you can't even go to Radiant Garden to say hi to your friends. This game was so focused on wrapping up the story between our heroes and Xehanort that we couldn't get our favorite crew from the first 2 games back. Why couldn't we visit Ienzo while saying hi to Leon, Cloud, and everyone else? We got Hayner, Pence, and Olette back, but I miss my first Final Fantasy family. It just feels a bit empty when we don't have a bonus fight with Sephiroth. Is it too much for me to ask for me to beat up Sephiroth with a carousel? It'll make Cloud very happy. Not to mention it felt like tradition to have a Final Fantasy character when you go to the Colosseum, aka Olympus. Birth by Sleep had Zack, Kingdom Hearts had Cloud, and Kingdom Hearts 2 had Auron. Why change the pattern for this game? My overall point is the game felt empty and shorter compared to the past games. We got our answers towards the end, but it felt like that was all they wanted to give us. Possible DLCs maybe? If so, then I want a world from Coco. That would be awesome! And a world from The Incredibles. I want Jack Jack as my fighting buddy. Bad point number 4, the terrible mini-games. Kingdom Hearts has always had a fair share of good and bad mini-games. With Kingdom Hearts 3, however, there was only one mini-game I liked, and that was the Bistro recipes. It's pretty much the easiest game on here, but it was cute. All I'm saying is 100 Acre Woods was dwindled down to puzzle games that you could download on your phone. The Mickey Mouse cell phone games were boring, and then we have the Flantastic 7. Cute pun, awful games. In order to unlock some of the recipes at the bistro and work towards getting the ultimate Keyblade, you have to find these adorable things and play their games. The tasks are pretty simple, but it's only hard when you're dealing with broken mechanics. The Strawberry game had persistent flauns hunting me down before I could meet their score demand, and f*** the Cherry game with the Trinity Shield hitting everything. This is making me miss Birth by Sleep DDR. Bad point number 5. So about them fighting mechanics. While I appreciate the variety in fighting, it almost felt like you didn't need any of them, as this is the most button mashy game out of all of them. Just press X again and again and again and again, maybe dodge a little bit, watch your health, and that's it. It seemed like a lot of thought and strategy went into the past games, but this one felt like I didn't even have to try that hard to win. I honestly get the feeling that they just wanted us to get to the ending of the game with no real struggle in the fights, and it honestly shows. Everyone else is saying they didn't have to try that hard even in proud mode, so this feels a bit sad compared to other games. Bad point number 6, character development, if any. While we were able to get more of Sora's character as we see more than just a good kid trying to find his friends, can anyone tell me why most of the effort towards character development went to Axel and not everyone as a whole? I get Axel is the most popular character in the franchise by a grand majority. It all seems weird when you see the other characters and how bland they are. You can give some leeway to Riku since he developed more in Chain of Memories and Dream Drop Distance, but what about Aqua, Ventus, all of the villains, and the seriously pointless character who had more spunk in the first 2 games only to turn less interesting? You think with what she's used for in the end, they put a lot more attention to her, but all of the care and attention put towards developing these characters all went to Sora and mostly Axel. Why? Bad point number 7. Nobody dies. With the challenges Sora has come across in the past and the emotions we experience when certain characters gave their lives for our heroes, what are we left to think when they can just come back to life somehow? It's bad enough that people cry in Dragon Ball Z when characters die only to remember, oh yeah, I can just wish them back with the Dragon Balls. But Kingdom Hearts has their own laws in regards to where you go when you're taken out. Axel gave up his life to make a path for Sora, and it was heartbreaking, only for him to come back in Dream Drop Distance. Somehow, Ansem the Wise holds down this data machine and takes in the explosion, and we're left to assume that he's dead, but he's in the realm of darkness. And it's just taken back to the realm of light like it's no big deal. It's one thing to beat Maleficent in Kingdom Hearts only for her to come back in Kingdom Hearts 2 when the fairies remember her, but the very millisecond we learn that Xehanort lied about nobodies not having a heart, you know damn well that means Roxas can totally come back, and there he is. With Xion! Of course! Nobody questioned anything. This is a happy moment. There's even a moment where Sora goes to their universe's metaphorical heaven, which plays out like this.
You got wiped out, so you're here now.
Can't I go back?
Well, I guess since your body is here too and you have a strong will, you could piece yourself back together and make your way out.
Really?
Sure, why the f not?
Honestly, Sora, why are you even crying for Kairi? Even Riku stays cool because they'll just bring her back somehow. If he's just freaking out because his girlfriend got hurt like that, then why make her a warrior of light and get her involved? Especially if she's that easy to capture. Bringing up my point about the plot's pacing issues again, why couldn't we find Aqua sooner and allow her to help Kairi and Axel in their training so they can have a better chance and totally not become a damsel for Xehanort to damage in front of Sora? Death has no weight and consequences as long as our characters have strong wills and hearts. It can lead to amazing reunions like what we saw with Axel and his friends, as well as Terra coming back and everyone is crying. Not to mention it brought up this amazing scene. Why does he look like me? Why am I wearing that? But it almost ruins the emotions we felt when we honestly thought we'd never see some of these characters again. Sora, if you use your power of awakening to save Kairi, there's a chance we'll never see you again. Yeah, how many times have you said that? I'll be fine at this point. Plus, I'm giving us another reason to make more games. Here we go. Where does Sora go? Where the hell is Riku? What's in the mysterious black box? If you still care, then stick around for Kingdom Hearts 525,600 minutes squared. I'll have a goddamn heart attack if that's the actual title. Overall, my gripes outweigh the goods. So does this mean Kingdom Hearts 3 is bad? Not entirely. It definitely warms your heart playing this game while exploring the worlds and crying your eyes out towards the end, but a part of me wishes it just could have been better. It has the same feel as the first 2 games, but with no cleaner way to mesh together all of these insane ideas. I don't know, maybe there's just too many ideas if you ask me. I still had fun playing this game, and I can see myself playing it again because, I had fun. And that's all that matters. And by comparison, this is definitely not the worst Kingdom Hearts game. And if you were to ask me to list the worlds from best to worst, I'd say Toy Box was the best world with how creative and fun it was to explore everywhere. Ball Pit, whee! Whee! And its only negative point would be, who the f made this nightmare fuel? So yeah, I choose Toy Box as the best one, followed by Monstropolis, San Francisco, Olympus, Kingdom of Corona, and the Caribbean, thus making Arendelle, in my opinion, the weakest one. There's nothing but snow and climbing. We can't even go inside Elsa's castle, even though we can see it right through her door, and we can't even go to Arendelle. I can't even go in their castle and talk to the pictures on their wall. Hang in there, Joan. But hey, at least it gave us one of the most unintentionally hilarious moments in the game.
We should be safe here!
So with all this in mind, I'm going to give Kingdom Hearts 3 3.5 pops out of 5. I could bring it up to 4 out of 5 if we can get some DLCs in the future, but all we can do is sit and wait for another 10 years or so. Be sure to like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribe to Pop Spectrum. Thanks for watching!